Peaceful greetings and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to come and do a video and let's break it down. We're going to get to the tea, the chisme, whatever you want to call it, baby. Because this one right here is kind of juicy. Juicier than my lips, okay? Okay. Okay, so a few people had asked me about what the manager of Starbucks, the store manager, had lied about regarding the police. And they wanted to know if it involved me or it was involving Nieve, Tigre, or if it was involving somebody else. So we're going to get into it and I'm going to clear up everything because a few people asked me about this in real life. Okay. So I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do a video about it because, might as well. All right. So I actually witnessed, okay, a customer who had already bought something from Starbucks go into the restroom. And when he went into the restroom, he got walked in on by a Starbucks employee. Okay. So already that's real bad. Okay. Now, when he got walked in on as a customer, easily a manager or a manager in training, right, should be the one to de-escalate a problem and situation. That is not what happened. So, me being in super close proximity to the restrooms, I actually couldn't help but overhearing these two exchanging words. Now, anyone that gets walked in on in a restroom and has their private parts seen is going to be upset, right? And as management, you are supposed to be trained in ways of de escalating situations, empathizing, and correcting situations, and so that the customer can feel not only safe but heard, and the situation can be resolved in a way that the customer is actually satisfied, right? And none of that happened. Okay, so let's get into it. What happened is that when the alleged manager in training came and was addressing the customer, who was an elderly man. He's not like crippled old, just older. He looked like he was in pretty good shape for his age, for any age, really, actually. So, anyways, this manager in training, who I've already stated is unprofessional, rude in another video, and a very extremely aggressive. This guy came with that rude, aggressive attitude and literally, instead of de-escalating it, it literally looked like these two men were about to fight, like fist fight. Okay. And all because the manager in training came with a very negative, rude, unprofessional attitude to the situation in to start out with, right? And so totally inappropriate. So then the store manager comes over there and she actually did not de-escalate the situation at all, and it actually got escalated, and she decided to escalate it all the way to the point of calling the police on this man who is a customer, a paying customer, 555 when I just saw the timestamp. Not only is he a paying customer, but your your subordinate employee walked in on them. Okay. Okay. So when the policy enforcers, aka the police, get there, the police are like, he didn't lock the bathroom? Like, how was it, the employee able to even walk in on him in the first place? So, they're attempting to blame the employee, excuse me, they're trying to blame the customer or whatever. And, well, let me digress. So, when the policy enforcers first get there, let me say this, they came in like, you know, like Rambo. They was like, come outside. They was just like real hyped up, adrenaline pumping. And I'm pretty sure it's based off of what the store manager must have said uh, when she called. Okay. I don't know what she said, but they were very aggressive towards him. And, I seen how the situation was going, and it could have easily went a different way had other management been in place. Okay. So this guy talks to the policy enforcers, and at first it was like they were like really hearing him because their adrenaline was up and whatever, the employee um, and the store manager had said, they were kind of siding with them originally. So I just had to chime in, and I told the policy enforcers, this guy just had somebody walk in on him as a customer by an employee. I was like, how would you feel if somebody walked in on you? Like, you would be a little upset as well. Like, so I'm attempting to get them to see from this man's perspective why he's so elevated, and also that these employees, these representatives of Starbucks, never apologized. They never, and he even, like, before the policy enforcers, aka police, came, he actually literally stated that a lot of times, like, pretty loudly to, like, the front counter. Like, all you have to do is apologize. But it's like their ego and their pride was so great that they couldn't even come to, apologize, right? And so I had stated to the policy enforcers that bathroom door lock is actually wrong. And so as soon as I stated that, the store manager, guess what? She had to chime in and she was like, oh, no, it's not. No, it's, and she's lying, right? And she's trying to, like, override what I'm stating to them as the truth with a lie to save face and cover her own, you know what? And so I stood on business, like, I know for a fact that it has been wrong because I've used that restroom, and I literally had to figure it out myself, because when you lock the door, it reads when you lock the door, it reads unlocked. And when it's unlocked, it reads locked. Okay? Now, she still was trying to go back and forth. I told the popo, I said, go check the door. The easiest way is to go check the door, right? Because they're trying to make it the customer's fault. And I'm like, not only is it not his fault that this employee walked in on him, but it's also not his fault that that door is wrong and he didn't catch it. Like, the door shouldn't be wrong, right? With this labeling, anybody that goes by the labeling, they're going to think that the door is locked, right? So, anyways, guess what? They went and checked the lock with the store manager, and when they came back, they were the two of the policy enforcers. They were quiet, and so I just asked them. I said, "Was the door right or wrong?" And the one goes, "It was wrong." He was like, "It was wrong." And so then she tries to finagle it, the store manager, after they seen with their own eyes and were back away from the bathroom, she tries to, play with it and jiggle with it and do something to try to make it look right or whatever. And so she comes out after she's tried to, mess with it. And she's like, "Oh no, you just have to turn it hard and then it's halfway." That's halfway still wrong. And no, it's not. It's not even halfway wrong. It's completely wrong. And so, she's trying to save face with a lie, even after they have literally seen with their own eyeballs that it was wrong. Okay. And so, I had to like say, no, it was wrong. It's been wrong. I know it was wrong. And so I didn't get no attitude or whatever. I just professionally, calmly had stated that it's been wrong. Now, the dude, she was trying to kick him out instead of apologizing. Now, if another manager who has properly been trained had a situation like this, the whole situation would have went differently. Okay. So the guy's upset. "Sir, I realize that you have had this situation happen. I realize that, you know, you've been walked in on. I've heard from the employee what happened. We apologize. This was a complete accident." And then the individual could say, "I've actually had somebody walk in on me. It was not a pleasant experience," or "I've never had that happen. I could only imagine how unpleasant that must have been for you. Again, I sincerely apologize. And is there anything that I can get you? I know you've already bought a coffee, but can I get you something to eat, or, something else to drink to, make you feel any better about this situation?" Like empathize, like, and de-escalate. Popo didn't have to be called, right? Old girl didn't have to lie. And let me say this: not only did she lie about it numerous times, but then after the let me say the next day, I go into the Starbucks and I have to use the restroom after, you drink some coffee, you gotta use the bathroom. So, anyways, I go into that restroom and the lock is still incorrect. Baby, incorrect. Still. So, not only did you lie about it numerous times, but then you didn't even fix it. You didn't even fix it to make it right. So, totally unacceptable, inappropriate, and nothing was done to solve the problem for that not happening to any other customers. Okay. Now, if it's not solved, then was it really an accident, or are they, you know, occasionally just walking in on customers? Okay. I don't know. Because that's a little sus that they didn't fix it. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see this, but I took pictures of the door the next day so I could get the receipts of these lies, baby. Cause I love me some receipts. Okay, so this, when it's green, it's unlocked. Okay? And the door is closed so you can't see. Okay? The green is when it's unlocked. Okay? All right. Red is when it's locked. Okay, look at the position of the actual. Okay. Now, we're going to go. Oh, hold on. Now, this is showing the red that is showing locked, and this I ajarred the door so you could see if it was locked, that bolt should be out, right? That should be sticking out because it's locked, but it's not, baby. It's flush. I don't know if y'all can see that. Okay, so this is the next day. Let's let's go. We're gonna go to the about, which is the info. Okay, so this is the 24th. Wait, that's the same day that they said they need everything they could have come in. Anyways, that's crazy. Hold on. So that situation happened first, and then later they was like, "Oh, Nieve, I think they can't be in here." Maybe because I was telling the truth when she was trying to lie. Anyways, that's this is the next day from that situation happening, and when I went into the restroom, it still wasn't fixed the next day. Now, if it is fixed now, I'm not sure, but it was incorrect, and the store manager thought that it's okay to lie numerous times. She was adamant about, saving face. I don't, baby, just admit that. Oh, the door is incorrect. We apologize. Why would you even call the popo on him? The man has already had a bad experience, and you ain't make it no better. You just made it worse and worse and double down with a lie. These are not the type of people that need to be in managerial or authoritative positions, baby, because attitude reflects leadership. Leadership reflects attitude, and baby, all them other employees, you could tell that that's their leader, okay? Because they all have bad customer service. Just, I'm not going to say all of them, but majority of them do, okay? Bad attitudes. So, uh, let me just say this. Now, I would be able to understand and overstand if this store manager had lied and she was in a gang, right? If she's lying to the police and she's in a gang, okay, baby, you in the opposite spectrum. You a gang member lying, you know. So, but you being in a managerial position of a coffee shop, of a corporation, of a franchise, lying to the police on customers, baby, you for the streets. That's like street shit. That's like, I don't know if you used to be in gang. If I don't know if she used to be in gangs or that's who she rolled with. I don't. I have no idea. That's not none of my business. But that's some street shit. But you are taking street shit and trying to mix it in with professional business. You for the streets lying like this. That's not corporate America like business professional customer service. Like the math ain't mathing, baby. The math ain't mathing. The math is mathing that you for the streets, and that's how you operate, because that is not honorable. That is not with integrity. That is not, truthful. That is not empathetic to what the customer just went through. And then you want him to feel some type of way with having policy enforcers aggressively come in by whatever you done alleged in your phone conversation to get them there in the first place. It's just bad, 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 bad business. Okay. Not to mention what they done did to violate Nieve Tigre's rights, my indigenous rights. This was prior to that. Okay. I mean, I already had bad customer service experiences prior to that, but this I witnessed. I witnessed this store manager literally lie to the police. That's crazy. Unprofessional and unacceptable.